Let's begin with clarity, the foundation of all great communication. Clarity isn't just about speaking, it's about being understood. Too often, people assume that simply talking means they are communicating, but real communication happens when the message is received just as you intended. Think of it like sending a letter. If the address is wrong, it won't reach its destination. The same goes for words. You must be precise, deliberate, and thoughtful. Clarity in communication is the foundation upon which understanding is built. Without clarity, words become noise. Messages become confusing, and intentions get lost. The ability to express thoughts in a clear, precise, and direct manner is what separates great communicators from those who merely speak. It is not about using big words, complicated phrases, or sounding intellectual. It is about making sure that what you say is easily understood, immediately grasped, and effectively absorbed by the listener. One of the first steps to achieving clarity is knowing exactly what you want to say before you say it. Many people speak as they think, formulating their ideas while words are already coming out of their mouths. This leads to confusion, rambling, and loss of focus. Instead, take a moment before speaking. Organize your thoughts. Ask yourself, what is the core idea I want to communicate? What is the simplest and most effective way to say it? If you can clarify your own thoughts before speaking, you eliminate unnecessary detours and distractions. The next step is to remove any ambiguity. Vague language creates uncertainty. People often use phrases like kind of, sort of, or maybe because they fear being too direct. But uncertainty weakens the message. Imagine a leader saying, I think we should maybe try going in this direction. Would that inspire confidence? Compare that to a leader who says, this is the direction we're going. The difference is clear. One statement plants doubt, the other instills certainty. Another essential aspect of clarity is simplicity. Some people mistakenly believe that complexity makes them sound more intelligent, but the opposite is true. The most intelligent people know how to simplify complex ideas so that anyone can understand them. Look at the greatest leaders, teachers, and communicators in history. Their messages were powerful not because they were complicated, but because they were simple and direct. A complicated message is a forgotten message. Simplicity ensures that what you say sticks. A great way to simplify communication is to avoid jargon. Every industry, profession, and social group has its own specialized language, but using complicated terms outside of their intended audience leads to confusion. If you want to connect with people, speak their language. Use words that resonate with them. The goal is not to impress, but to express. If the words you use go over someone's head, your message is lost. The most effective communicators adjust their language so their message reaches the intended audience in the most natural way. Filler words and unnecessary phrases also destroy clarity. Many people clutter their speech with words like you know, and like. These verbal crutches not only dilute the message, but also make the speaker appear hesitant or unprepared. Strong communicators embrace the power of silence. A well-placed pause is far more effective than filling space with meaningless sounds. Pauses command attention. They give the listener a moment to absorb the message. They create rhythm, making speech more engaging and impactful. Instead of rushing to fill every moment with noise, learn to use silence as a tool. Clarity also depends on structure. A disorganized message confuses the listener, making it difficult for them to follow along. Strong communicators present their thoughts in a logical sequence. They lead the listener from one idea to the next in a smooth, natural way. Whether you're telling a story, giving instructions, or making a point, structure matters. The human brain craves order. If your message is scattered, the listener will struggle to connect the dots. But when ideas flow logically, understanding becomes effortless. Tone and body language play a crucial role in clarity as well. Words alone are not enough. How you say them matters just as much. A monotone voice, a hesitant tone, or poor posture can make even the clearest words sound unconvincing. On the other hand, a confident tone, good posture, and purposeful gestures reinforce the message. When your body language and voice align with your words, clarity is enhanced. People believe what they see and hear together. If your words say one thing, but your tone suggests uncertainty, the message loses its impact. Being clear also means being concise. Many people use too many words to say too little. They go in circles, repeat themselves, or add unnecessary details. The best communicators get to the point. They remove excess words and focus on what truly matters. Every sentence should serve a purpose. If a word doesn't add value to the message, it should be eliminated. Concise communication respects the listener's time and ensures the message is remembered. Adapting to the audience is another key factor in clarity. A message that works in one setting may not work in another. A conversation with a child should not sound the same as a presentation to executives. The core idea may remain the same, but the way it is delivered must change. Great communicators assess their audience and tailor their message accordingly. They adjust their tone, choice of words, and style of delivery to ensure maximum understanding. The goal is not just to speak, but to connect. Clarity also requires active listening. Many communication failures occur not because the speaker was unclear, but because they did not take the time to understand the needs, perspectives, and expectations of the listener. Effective communication is a two-way process. Before speaking, listen. Pay attention to what the other person is saying. Observe their reactions. Adjust based on their level of understanding. When communication is interactive rather than one-sided, clarity improves. Lastly, clarity in communication is a habit that must be developed. It requires self-awareness and practice. Record yourself speaking. Review your messages. Ask for feedback. Are you clear or do you tend to be vague? Do you simplify or overcomplicate? Do you use unnecessary fillers? The best communicators are always refining their skills. They strive to be better with every conversation, every speech, and every interaction. Every interaction. Clarity is power. When you speak with clarity, you gain influence. People listen to those who articulate their thoughts well. Opportunities open up for those who can communicate effectively. Relationships improve when misunderstandings are eliminated. Success in business, leadership, and personal life depends on the ability to express ideas in a way that is understood. Words have the power to inspire, persuade, and lead, but only when they are clear. Listening is one of the most underrated yet most powerful skills in communication. Many people think that communication is all about speaking, but in reality, the best communicators are often the best listeners. When you truly listen with intent, you don't just hear words, you understand meaning, emotions, and unspoken messages. Listening with intent means going beyond passive hearing and fully engaging in the conversation. It is about being present, showing respect, and making the other person feel valued. Most people don't really listen. They wait for their turn to speak. They are too busy thinking about what they are going to say next, how they will respond, or what their opinion is. This is not listening. It is simply waiting for the other person to finish talking. When you listen with intent, you shift your focus entirely to the other person. You absorb their words, their tone, and their body language. You tune in not just to what is being said, but how it is being said. Listening with intent requires full attention. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Phones buzz, notifications pop up, thoughts race through our minds, and attention spans have become shorter. But true listening demands that you remove distractions. When you are in a conversation, put your phone away. Look at the person speaking. Give them your full presence. Nothing communicates respect more than undivided attention. When people feel heard, they feel important. They feel valued. And when they feel valued, they open up, trust grows, and connections strengthen. Another key part of listening with intent is patience. Too often, people interrupt or try to finish the other person's sentences. They assume they know what the other person is going to say before they even say it. But real listening means allowing the speaker to fully express their thoughts. Silence can be powerful. Instead of jumping in, allow a pause. Let the speaker gather their thoughts. Give them space to say what they truly mean. When you rush someone, you risk missing the full depth of their message. Listening with intent also means listening without judgment. Many people listen with an internal filter, constantly evaluating, analyzing, or even preparing arguments in their minds. But when you judge while listening, you create a barrier between yourself and the speaker. Instead, try to listen with an open mind. Don't assume you know everything. Don't assume you already understand. Be curious. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this person? What perspective can they offer? True listening is about understanding, not debating. Acknowledgement is another essential part of listening with intent. People need to feel that they are being heard. This doesn't mean you have to agree with everything they say, but it does mean that you recognize their perspective. Nodding, making small verbal affirmations like, I see, or that makes sense, and maintaining eye contact all show that you are engaged. Reflecting back what you hear also reinforces understanding. If someone shares an idea, summarizing their point in your own words can show that you are truly paying attention. For example, saying, "So what you're saying is," helps clarify meaning and avoids misunderstandings. A major part of listening with intent is reading between the lines. Not all communication is verbal. In fact, a large percentage of communication comes from tone, facial expressions, and body language. Someone might say they are fine, but their voice, posture, or facial expression might tell a different story. A skilled listener picks up on these cues. They notice when words and emotions don't align. They recognize when someone is holding something back. And when they sense this, they respond with empathy. Empathy is one of the most powerful tools in communication. When you listen with empathy, you go beyond just understanding words. You understand emotions. You put yourself in the other person's shoes. You feel what they feel. When people sense that you genuinely understand their emotions, they open up more. They trust you more. They feel safer sharing their thoughts, fears, and concerns. This is why the best leaders, friends, and mentors are great listeners. And they don't just listen, they make people feel heard. Asking the right questions is another way to listen with intent. Instead of assuming you understand everything, ask questions that encourage deeper conversation. Simple questions like, "Can you tell me more about that?" or "How did that make you feel?" show that you are truly engaged. Questions demonstrate interest. They invite the speaker to share more, to open up, and to provide more clarity. Great communicators don't just listen passively. They ask, probe, and seek to understand fully. Listening with intent also means resisting the urge to give advice too quickly. Many times people don't need a solution. They just need to be heard. They need someone to listen without trying to fix everything. Often the simple act of being heard is enough to help someone work through their own thoughts and find their own answers. Instead of jumping in with solutions, ask, "What do you think would help?" Or, "What are you considering doing?" This empowers the speaker rather than making them feel like they are being talked at. Finally, listening with intent is a habit that requires practice. It is not something that happens automatically. It is a conscious choice. You must train yourself to slow down, to be fully present, and to truly engage. You must remind yourself that listening is not just about words. It's about connection. It's about understanding. It's about making people feel valued. When you master the art of listening with intent, your relationships improve, your influence grows, and your ability to connect with people on a deeper level becomes one of your greatest strengths. Words have power. They shape ideas, influence opinions, and drive action. The ability to choose the right words at the right time is one of the most valuable skills in communication. Mastering your vocabulary is not about using big words to impress people. It's about using the right words to express yourself with clarity, precision, and impact. The better your vocabulary, the more effectively you can articulate your thoughts, persuade others, and leave a lasting impression. A strong vocabulary gives you an edge in every conversation. It allows you to communicate complex ideas in a way that is easy to understand. It helps you avoid misunderstandings and prevents ambiguity. When you struggle to find the right words, your message becomes weaker. But when you have a strong command of language, you can paint vivid pictures, evoke emotions, and drive home your points with confidence. The first step to mastering your vocabulary is to become aware of the words you use. Many people rely on a limited set of words and repeat the same phrases over and over. This creates monotony in speech and weakens the ability to express ideas dynamically. Start by listening to yourself. Pay attention to the words you frequently use. Are they varied and expressive? Or do you find yourself using the same generic words in different situations? Awareness is the first step toward improvement. Expanding your vocabulary does not mean memorizing long lists of complex words. It means gradually incorporating new words into your everyday speech and writing. Reading is one of the most effective ways to do this. The more you expose yourself to rich language, the more naturally you absorb new words. Read books, articles, speeches, and well-written content that challenge your current level of vocabulary. Don't just skim through words. Pause to understand them. When you come across a word you don't know, take a moment to look it up, understand its meaning, and see how it is used in different contexts. Once you learn a new word, use it. Words only become part of your vocabulary when you actively incorporate them into your speech and writing. Make it a habit to use a new word in a conversation or in a journal entry. Experiment with different ways to apply it. The more you use it, the more naturally it will come to you. Vocabulary mastery is not about passive learning, it's about active application. Precision is one of the most valuable aspects of vocabulary mastery. Many people use broad, vague, or filler words instead of choosing specific and precise language. Instead of saying something is good, describe exactly what makes it good. Instead of saying you are tired, are you exhausted, drained, or fatigued? The more specific you are, the more engaging and powerful your communication becomes. Precision eliminates confusion and makes your message sharper. Another key to mastering vocabulary is eliminating filler words. Words like like, and you know, weaken speech. They signal hesitation and reduce credibility. The best communicators speak with confidence, and that confidence comes from knowing what to say and how to say it. Instead of filling space with unnecessary words, embrace the power of silence. It gives your words weight and allows the listener to absorb what you have said. Your vocabulary also shapes your ability to persuade and influence. The most persuasive speakers use words that resonate with their audience. They choose words that evoke emotions, create vivid mental images, and build strong connections. This is why advertising, politics, and leadership all rely heavily on the power of words. A great communicator knows that words are not just carriers of information, they are tools of persuasion. The words you choose determine how people perceive you and how they respond to your message. Tone and word choice go hand in hand. The same idea can be communicated in different ways depending on the words used. Saying, "I need you to do this" carries a different tone than "I would really appreciate your help with this." Choosing words that align with the right tone can make the difference between sounding demanding and sounding persuasive. It can make the difference between motivating someone and pushing them away. A diverse vocabulary also allows you to adapt to different audiences. The way you speak to a close friend is different from the way you would address a professional audience. Some situations call for formal language, while others require a casual approach. The more words you have at your disposal, the more easily you can adjust to different settings. Being able to switch between conversational and professional language effortlessly is a mark of a skilled communicator. Mastering your vocabulary also helps you become a better listener. When you have a broad vocabulary, you can pick up on subtle nuances in what others are saying. You can recognize the difference between words that may seem similar but carry distinct meanings. This allows you to understand people more deeply and respond more thoughtfully. Effective communication is not just about speaking well, it's about understanding well. One of the best ways to refine your vocabulary is to engage in meaningful conversations. Surround yourself with people who challenge you intellectually. Listen to great speakers, study their word choices, and observe how they craft their messages. Engage in discussions that require you to think critically and articulate your thoughts clearly. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Vocabulary mastery is not about complexity, it's about effectiveness. It's not about using words that people don't understand. It's about using words that make your message stronger. It's about clarity, precision, and the ability to connect with your audience in a way that leaves an impact. Words are one of the most powerful tools you have. The better you master them, the more influence, confidence, and success you will achieve. The way you say something is just as important as what you say. The way words carry meaning, but tone and pace determine how those words are received. Your tone conveys emotion, attitude, and intention, while your pace influences engagement, clarity, and impact. A well-motroed tone and pace can command attention, inspire action, and build trust. On the other hand, a poor tone or an uncontrolled pace can weaken your message, create misunderstandings, and even damage relationships. Mastering the art of controlling your tone and pace is one of the most valuable skills in communication. Tone is the emotion behind your words. It can be warm or cold, inviting or distant, encouraging or dismissive. People often react more to tone than to words themselves. You can say the same sentence in different tones and evoke completely different responses. For example, saying, "I need to talk to you," in a calm, gentle tone, invites a conversation, while saying the same words in a sharp, aggressive tone can make someone defensive. People are highly sensitive to tone, even when they are not consciously aware of it. If your tone is harsh, impatient, or uninterested, your words lose their effectiveness. But if your tone is warm, confident, and engaging, people are more likely to listen and respond positively. One of the most important aspects of controlling tone is self-awareness. Many people do not realize how their tone comes across to others. They may think they sound neutral when they actually sound irritated. They may believe they sound confident when they actually come across as arrogant. The best way to become aware of your tone is to record yourself speaking or ask for feedback from others. Pay attention to whether your tone matches your message and whether it aligns with the response you want to create. The tone should be adjusted depending on the situation. In professional settings, a calm and confident tone commands respect and credibility. In personal conversations, a warm and empathetic tone strengthens connections. In moments of urgency, a firm and decisive tone is necessary. The key is to match your tone to the context while maintaining control over your emotions. If you let frustration, impatience, or anxiety creep into your tone, it can weaken your ability to communicate effectively. Another aspect of tone control is variation. A monotonous tone is one of the quickest ways to lose an audience's attention. When speech lacks variation in pitch, it becomes dull and disengaging. Great speakers use vocal variety to emphasize key points, create excitement, and maintain interest. A slight change in pitch, volume, or emphasis can make a statement far more compelling. Imagine a speaker saying, "This is the most important thing I will say today." If they say it with the same tone as everything else, it loses impact. But if they slow down, lower their voice slightly, and add a touch of intensity, the audience immediately tunes in. While tone influences emotion, pace influences comprehension. Speaking too fast can overwhelm listeners and make it difficult for them to absorb information. When speech is rushed, words blur together, key points get lost, and the audience struggles to keep up. On the other hand, speaking too slowly can make speech sound unnatural, overly deliberate, or even condescending. A well-controlled pace balances clarity with engagement. A common mistake is speaking too quickly due to nervousness. When people are anxious, they tend to speed up, often without realizing it. This makes them harder to understand and reduces the impact of their words. The best way to slow down is to practice deliberate pauses. A brief pause between sentences allows the listener to process information, adds weight to important points, and makes speech sound more intentional. Pauses also give the speaker time to gather their thoughts, reducing filler words like and pace should also match the message. Exciting, high-energy moments call for a slightly faster pace to create enthusiasm and urgency. Serious or emotional moments require a slower pace to allow the message to sink in. A storyteller, for example, may speed up during an intense part of a story to build suspense, and then slow down during an emotional moment to create depth. Great speakers control their pace dynamically, adjusting it to fit the tone, the audience, and the impact they want to create. Breathing plays a major role in controlling pace. When people breathe shallowly, they tend to rush their words. Deep, controlled breathing helps regulate pace and maintain composure. Before speaking, take a deep breath and focus on controlled exhalation. This naturally slows down speech and creates a steady rhythm. Breathing exercises and mindfulness techniques can help improve pace control over time. Another effective way to refine pace is to practice reading aloud. Take a paragraph from a book, an article, or a speech and read it at different speeds. Start at an extremely slow pace, then gradually increase speed while maintaining clarity. Pay attention to how the meaning and impact of the words change depending on the pace. Record yourself and listen back. Are you speaking too fast? Are you dragging? Adjust until you find the right balance. Public speakers, leaders, and great communicators understand the power of strategic pacing. They know when to speed up to build excitement and when to slow down to let an idea settle. They use silence as a tool, recognizing that sometimes the most powerful moments come not from words, but from the space between them. A well-placed pause can create anticipation, emphasize a key point, or allow emotions to resonate. The absence of sound often makes people lean in, heightening engagement. Matching tone and pace to the audience is another critical skill. Speaking to a group of executives requires a different approach than speaking to a group of students. Some audiences respond well to a fast-paced, energetic delivery, while others need a slower, more deliberate approach. Paying attention to audience reactions can provide valuable feedback. If people look confused, it may be a sign to slow down. If they seem disengaged, adjusting tone and energy can recapture their attention. Ultimately, mastering tone and pace is about control. It is about being intentional with how you speak, rather than letting nervousness, habit, or emotion dictate your delivery. It is about understanding that communication is not just about words, but about how those words are conveyed. The best communicators do not just speak, they guide their audience through their message using tone and pace as powerful tools. They know when to soften their tone for empathy, when to sharpen it for authority, when to accelerate to build excitement, and when to pause to let their words linger. When you control your tone and pace, You control the way people perceive your message. You create impact, inspire confidence, and make your words memorable. Every conversation, every speech, and every interaction is an opportunity to refine this skill. The more aware you become, the more influence you gain. The power of communication is not just in what you say, but in how you say it.